Hello friends, welcome back to a new video. So today in this video I'm going to talk about yoga because quite recently there was the International Yoga Day that was celebrated all over the world on June 21st. So many a times there is a misconception about yoga, and at times there is an over the board claims on yoga as well. So first try to understand what this yoga is. Is it just an exercise or is it something related with religion? And the yoga that we practice now, was it has been practiced through centuries? These are certain questions that everybody might think about, and these questions might have come to their mind once in a while. So first of all, you have to understand, yes, yoga has its religious philosophy because it is one among the 6 Indian philosophical schools of thought in Hinduism. Right? There is, other than yoga, there is Nyaya, Mimamsa, Vaisheshika. There are many other philosophical schools of thought. There are some abstract, anti-theistic philosophical schools of thought as well. So in yoga, what does it actually mean? Yoga means it's joining, right? Yoga, what they're trying to say is like, if you look into the philosophical concept of Hinduism, there is Purusha as well as Prakriti, or you can say there is an element of the Supreme Consciousness among each and every one of us. So through joining, while you are meditating, what happens is like you are joining your inner Atma with the Supreme Consciousness so that you are attaining salvation. So yoga was used especially as a tool for a sage during their last phases of life so that they attain salvation. So in that way it has its similarities with the philosophical Hinduism. Okay, and if you move forward and you see the yogasanas, when you see about yoga, the first thing that comes to your mind is like Surya Namaskar, many asanas, right? Ardha Matsyendriyasana, Naugasana, Kukudasana, or there are so many asanas, and breathe in and breathe out. This is what you think about yoga. Like, so that kind of yoga that we see now is not what it has been practiced for centuries. That was mostly the contribution of 2 important people. Their names is Thirumalai Krishnamacharya and his disciple B.K.S. Iyengar. And this B.K.S. Iyengar is one who popularized yoga all throughout the world. Especially he had a lot of Western disciples. And Thirumalai Krishnamacharya was instrumental in actually training or using this yoga to cure certain ailments of the Vodayar king of Mysore. So Krishnamacharya had his birth in 1888 and he died in 1987. And obviously B.K.S. Iyengar also lived almost during that time. But at the same time, B.K.S. Iyengar is the one who actually popularized yoga all throughout the world. Nowadays, there are even many other yoga teachers who are hailing from India who has actually popularized the aspect of yoga. But this B.K.S. Iyengar and Thirumalai Krishnamacharya actually used the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, their concept, but at the same time made it into a kind of a very much flexible exercises. That is why we see so many asanas and Surya Namaskar and all those things actually linked with them in many ways. So that is that particular aspect of yoga. And another question that comes to your mind is like, so see this, what happens exactly during this yoga? Okay, and how it can be used as a better training exercise. If you look into the Indian military academy or Indian police force or during the training of the civil servants, you can see yoga is a part and parcel of their curriculum. And if you look into this many acting studios or the National School of Drama, various drama schools, they also do use yoga as a performance enhancer for the students because it brings a calmness in their mind. They feel very calm and composed while doing a play. But if you can say that yoga can cure cancer or yoga can do this and that, basically that are over the board claims. Okay, because yoga is basically an exercise that actually calms your mind. Through breathe in and breathe out, what happens? Your blood circulation gets normalized and your hormonal, whatever your feel good hormones, dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, endorphins, those level becomes normalized and you feel yourself like a better human being, especially when you are doing this breathing exercise in the morning. And basically what's the principle behind yoga? Okay, you breathe in when your lower abdomen is expanding, and when your lower abdomen is contracting, you breathe out. This is what they do in all the exercise. If you look into the Surya Namaskar, the first step, you bend backwards, your lower abdomen is expanding, you breathe in, and you bend down, you breathe out. Okay, so this kind of an exercise and this kind of philosophy is not only there in Hinduism. If you can see, a similar version of Vipassana meditation is what you find in Buddhism. And many other cultures have come up with similar techniques under similar terminologies in many ways. If you look into the Buddhism, you have the Zen meditation. In the Eastern part, Oriental world, you have the Zen meditation. And if you look into the Chinese culture, you have something called Tai Chi. Tai Chi is very similar to yoga, with very fluid movements as if they are touching clouds, and they do breathe in and breathe out. And if you again look into the martial arts, whether it's karate or kung fu, they also have this breathe in and breathe out in some another way in the form of shouts. You see, ki kind of shouts. They're actually pumping out the air from the lower abdomen while they're doing a punch or a kick. So that is also a yoga. And if you look move into the higher katas of karate or kung fu, they also do breathe in and breathe out in a very, very intense manner. I can tell you an example. Like there are some katas in this karate, like Sanjin. Can actually, you just go and type Sanjin kata in YouTube. You can find that kata is very, very similar to what yoga is doing, because it's a intense breathe in and breathe out exercise. So you have to understand, it's not only indigenous to India. This attitude, this technique of breathing in and breathing out, stabilizing the mind, has been identified by so many cultures around the world, especially the Eastern cultures. But it has been either linked to certain religion or either linked to certain philosophy. So this is, once you think about yoga, you have to understand what yoga can do and what yoga cannot do. And you have to think rational about yoga. So when you think that yoga is something religious that we should shy away from, you have to say, in the same manner, you have to think that if yoga is Hindu, then karate or kung fu is Buddhist. But nobody makes a big deal about karate or kung fu, because Buddhism is not such a prominent political force in India as Hinduism is. So this is what you have to identify when it comes to yoga, and this is what I wish to say, that you can understand it better. So thank you for listening to this video. I hope that you have a better understanding about yoga and how it can be used as a wellness exercise. Thank you. Thank you for listening to me. Please do subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Have a nice day. Take care. Bye.